So it's far too early in the morning, but I'm on my way to Manchester Airport in this video, and a relatively new airline has recently launched flights from Manchester direct to Chisinau, the capital of Moldova. This airline, called FlyOne, has already opened bases in Chisinau, Bucharest and Yerevan, Armenia, and it's being compared to Ryanair in the early days of Ryanair. So I'm going to see what it's like in bog standard economy on FlyOne on a 3.5-hour flight from Manchester to Chisinau, Moldova this morning, and I will see you after security at Manchester Airport Terminal 2 for 11 AM departure. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Joe and I have been a travel writer for well over 15 years. I'm proud to have worked with the likes of BBC Travel, National Geographic, folders, airlines, hotels and tourist boards around the world. I'm exploring the world one unique experience after another, getting lost along the way, and I'm now taking you with me. So I hope you enjoy exploring with me as we explore the world together. So we're not off to the best start. The FlyOne app would not let me check in. And apparently there's a £30 check-in fee for the check-in at the airport. So very much like Ryanair. Well, let's go and see if we can find the desk and have an argument with somebody. See if we can get checked in at least. So we are not off to a good start. I've been charged £30 to check in. And I was told quite bluntly, if you don't pay, we'll just kick you off the flight, by a big burly Moldovan guy at check-in. And my airport fast track didn't work, so I ended up studying security for half an hour here at Manchester. And I've got a middle seat. I was told I'd have to pay an extra €36 to choose any other seat, so this is going to be an expensive trip, but let's see if we can get to a lounge. All I need now is for the priority pass lounges to be full at this time in the morning, but let's go and see if we can get into a lounge and relax for an hour before we have to get crammed into a sardine tin for 3.5 hours on a middle seat. So I've tried both priority pass lounges here in Manchester and both have refused access with a priority pass because they've said they don't have to take the cards, which is true, but then they said don't try again because we're sick of people trying with these cards. So I'm going to have to spend 2 hours in a really busy terminal this morning, but a lot of the restaurants are shut, so I'll have to find somewhere quiet to sit and wait. This is really not getting off to a good start. So there's the A321 to Chisinau. So I wasn't able to get access to the Evergreen Brasserie, which I'm supposed to get with priority pass. So a lot of the shops are actually closed here at Manchester Terminal 2 because they're rebuilding the terminal, and the bits that are left open are just really busy. So I've not managed to get anything to eat or drink. I've tried 3 places that are supposed to take priority pass and they don't. and it's going to be expensive on this plane if it is anything like Ryanair low cost to the bone. But I'm down £30 already. They did try to charge me for my bag as well. It's a personal item. It apparently weighs 6 kilos and the limit is 5. But I showed them on the website that the limit actually says 7. So they're trying to charge you for things they shouldn't be trying to charge you for. Well, let's see what it's like on board and get over to Chisinau. I'm not even on the plane yet, and somebody has just tried to sell me a bus ticket for Chisinau that was dated 4 days ago. This is going to be a fun adventure. Let's have a quick run through the city.
Take your seat. As soon as possible.
Legroom on this flight was dreadful. It was 71 centimetres and we had a lot of turbulence, so we couldn't even take our seat belts off. The seats are very uncomfortable. There's absolutely no padding at all, and you can feel all of the metal bars in the seats. This is the only view I had from my really uncomfortable middle seat. We can just about see the Moldovan countryside as we come down to land in Chisinau International Airport. Well, that was probably one of the worst flights I've ever had. The seat was like sitting on a wooden park bench, no padding at all. There was absolutely no... So as I was saying, one of the worst flights I've ever had. The seat was like sitting on a park bench, there was no padding at all. There was absolutely no leg room for 2.5–3 hours. I think the saving grace was probably that the life jacket under my seat fell off partway through the flight, so at least there is a life jacket. But before I get a taxi to my Airbnb in central Chisinau, there's one thing that I've just seen as I was coming out of the airport that I want to just go and see quickly, and it is really hot here. It's something like 33 Celsius. I don't put heat and Eastern Europe together, but there's this thing that I want to see, an old Tupolev jet that's parked up. So this is a Tupolev 134 in the old Moldova Airways livery. Just parked randomly at the edge of the airport perimeter. Right, so now we've seen that, let's see if we can get a taxi to the centre of Chisinau. So we have a bit of a problem. Apparently Uber doesn't operate in Moldova. And I've tried to use Yandex, the one that they use in the former Soviet countries, and it doesn't want to connect. There are lots of people offering taxi services outside the passenger terminal, but I don't think I'm going to trust them. I'm just going to have to go back into the airport and see if I can get some kind of connection to Yandex. It's quite hot to be walking around here. So before I end this video, let's have a quick look around my Airbnb. It's in an old 1970s Soviet building, but you wouldn't know that when you walked in. And if you like wine, well, this is the place for you. So you ready? So this is the entrance. A small toilet. And where's the light switch? And then a small shower type thing. And we've got a big bed. Again, with all kinds of wine related pictures, and I think that's a fire. I'm not going to use it because it's currently 34 Celsius, but there's a fire if you want to use a fire. Got a living room with more wine related things and some reading materials. And then we've got a full mini kitchen with a proper coffee machine, hobs, washing machine, fridge, and the oven, and then of course a carafe for wine. And the view is as you'd expect from an old Soviet building block. And I think there might be a extra surprise next to the bed. Oh. I don't think it opens, but yeah, this is really nice. I think it cost me, I think it was about 50 something pounds a night. We're probably about a 5-10 minute walk from the actual centre, centru as it's called, of Chisinau. So I'm here for 3 days. There's a few more videos coming, so make sure you're subscribed to make sure you don't miss those. We're going to be exploring Chisinau itself, and we may have a day trip to an old historic part of Moldova, not too far away, and then if all goes to plan, we'll also have another trip to somewhere else that's part of Moldova officially, but they don't think they are. Well, let's come to that when we do in a couple of videos time. So yeah, what did I think of FlyOne? I'd say it was worse than Ryanair. Better than Wizz Air, but the seats are just like pieces of wood with leather covering them. There's absolutely no legroom at all, but the seats recline. So if the people in front of you decide to recline, your legs are gone. The staff on board are just really moody. So would I recommend FlyOne? No. I'd say go with Ryanair, and not many people say that. But anyway, thanks for watching. That's enough of me going on. I am dripping in sweat and need to get something to eat before I call it a night after a long day. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more from Chisinau and wider Moldova. Keep travelling and I'll see you around soon.